welcome back. We are doing the Celtic tree signs, and this is the second sign, and it is the Rowan tree. I don't have any Rowan trees where I live, but we're still going to learn a lot about them, aren't we, Bo? As the dogs play. The Rowan tree is steeped in folklore, and it is seen as a tree of protection. It has a wide range of folk names, sometimes called the mountain ash. But in the British Isles, it has a long and still popular history in folklore as a tree that protects against witchcraft and fairy enchantment. So I kind of wish I had some around here. I think that would be good. People also believe that the color red, the red berries of the Rowan tree, or bright red berries, was the best protection against magic. Thus, the Rowan's berries in autumn, they're very red, contributed to its protective abilities.
Rowan trees have long been associated with witchcraft and magic. Its wood acted as an antidote against fairies, the evil eye, and even disease. And the tree even bore the name of the Wayfarer's tree, since it stopped people from getting lost on a journey.
The Rowan was denoted as a tree of the goddess, or a fairy tree, by virtue of its white flowers. But the same is also said of the hawthorn and the elder, which we'll get to later on in the Celtic year. People also carried pieces of the tree to ward off witchcraft. They even used sprigs to protect their cows from enchantments and to protect them from being stolen away by the fae. Now, people wore crosses made of rowan twigs, and they fastened them to cattle, hung them inside on the lintel on May Eve of each year. From Scotland to Cornwall, similar Rowan crosses were bound with red thread and sewn into the lines of coats, carried in your pockets. So this was like just a protection ward that was used.
Earlier we found like a Rowan tree, and the branch that we had I'd broken down into 2 equal parts. A handy wee little technique to do if you want to make the cross is to cut like a little niche in your branch or twig, and what you need to do is you need to make it look like a St. Andrew's cross, because that is the Scottish tradition of Rowan crosses, so it should look like an X and not a Christian equal arm cross. So the little niche can help you kind of keep that in place. So you need a length of red string. Place the length of string so under your niche here, and then put the other twig on top of it. And what you need to do then is kind of wrap it. Ideally, you want to get the string in a position so when it hangs like a St. Andrew's cross, like that. Here's one I made earlier, and I've just made sure that it hangs properly, and there's a little iron key on the bottom. So there you go, that's what it should look like.
Now, Druids used the bark and berries to dye garments worn during lunar ceremonies. The bark was also used in the tanning process, and people used rowan twigs for divining, particularly for metals. Now, I've heard of divining for water. I didn't know you could do it for metals. Interesting. The berries also could be made into a variety of alcoholic drinks. There was a popular wine made in the Highlands that the Scots made, a strong spirit from the berries. Now, the Welsh brewed an ale, and the Irish use it as a mead. Today, they still make rowan berry jelly in Scotland, eaten with wild game usually.
It is also quite interesting, and this fascinates me every time I come across it, that people are essentially conducting their own little rituals and using these particular types of wood and so on to protect themselves against witchcraft, when really what they're doing is essentially for witchcraft in and of itself. But that's a side issue.
Wish we had a Rowan tree, but we don't. Well, we don't have a Rowan tree. But maybe we'll learn more about some other trees that might have protective properties as we go through all the tree signs. Thanks for joining us and hanging out. And hope you come back and hang out with us at the end again. So, see you later.